This is the Thistle flower block. It's 12-inch finished. And here is the diagram. And this may look a bit complicated, but we're going to break it down and see how easy it really is. Here is what it looks like if you have 4 together, block to block. And here are the patches. We have 5 patches. Patch A is a 3-inch finished half square triangle. You cut squares at 3 7/8 inches, cut it in half once diagonally, and you'll get 2 patches per square. Here are the AccuQuilt dies you can use. If you have the 6-inch cube, mix and match cube, you have all these dies. Patch B is a 1 1/2-inch finished square. We cut 2-inch squares. Patch C is a 1/4 square triangle that's 3-inch finished. We're going to cut a square that's 4 1/4 inches. Then we'll cut it in half twice diagonally, and we'll have 4 patches. And there is an alternative for flying geese. It's the flying geese 4 at a time, because these C patches are the geese part of the flying geese. And then patch D is a 1 1/2-inch finished half square triangle. We cut 2 3/8 inch squares, cut them in half once diagonally for 2 patches. And here are the patches we need. These are also for the flying geese. These are the sky portion of the flying geese, and you can substitute the C and the D patches for the flying geese 4 at a time method. And last, we have patch E, which is a 3-inch finished square. We cut 3 1/2-inch square, and then we need 1 patch. I'm going to use just the regular patch method. I'm not going to do the flying geese alternative. And you can also use the half square triangles 8 at a time. I've given you the measurements you need to do each of those techniques. There is a link in the description below the video that will take you to a tutorial for both of these methods. It's one tutorial. First, we're going to sew the half square triangles. We have the large one for the corners, and then we have the smaller ones for the interior of the block. And we have 3 different types of flying geese, or different fabric collections. Next, we're going to piece this. I call this the side unit. Here we're taking some of the half square triangles and 2 sets of flying geese to make this one unit that goes the sides of the block, the top, bottom, left, and right. And then we'll piece the center unit. This is the center square of the unit. This is a 4x4 grid, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Here are the different units we used in this block. We have a small square, a large square, 8 small half square triangles, 4 large half square triangles, and 12 flying geese. This is the 12-inch block size. If you want to make a 24-inch, these are the finished sizes of each of these units. Now let's look closer at this pattern so we can show you how to figure out what this is. This is a 4x4 grid. Here is one side. This half square triangle fills up 1 grid, and this flying geese side unit fills up 2 grids. And then here's another flying half square triangle. So that is 4 grids here. And you have the same thing across the top, and the same thing on the side and the bottom. And then here in the center, we have the center square, and it takes up 4 grids. And we'll go through each of these units separately and show you how to piece them. Here are the fabrics, and I've divided them out into their units. These are the large half square triangles that go in the corner. These are the smaller half square triangles, and these go in the side unit that takes up the 2 grid units, as well as these squares. Here is 1 set of flying geese unit, and these also go in the side unit. So all of these pieces here are for the side units. Then over here we have our 3rd set of flying geese, and we have our center square and our corners. And this makes up the center square that takes up 4 grid units. Let's start. I separated out these 8 half square triangles, the small ones. that go separately. The other half square triangles like this go into the flying geese. So I will piece the large half square triangles and the small half square triangles, and then all 3 sets of the flying geese, but I'll keep everything separate. When you piece your half square triangles, these are cut with the AccuQuilt, so the points are cut off. If you have hand cut these and you have points, you piece it the same way. You just turn them over, and I like to line up the corner piece here. So if I line up the corner piece, then pretty much everything else is in line. Then you just stitch 1/4 inch. So you'll stitch from point to point. If you don't have the AccuQuilt and you have a point out here, just start at your 1/4 inch and go all the way down. And that's how you do the half square triangles. For the flying geese unit, you will take these, you will take one of these half square triangles, and I lined it up with the bottom part of the flying geese. So this is, I call it, well, the bottom part, the big part of the flying geese. You line this up, the sides, and then this side here. And you'll start here and just stitch 1/4 inch and stitch all the way off. You'll press this open, and then the next one you'll do the same way. You line up at the bottom of the triangle here, and then piece the same way. This will be flipped the other side because it's pressed open. Now I finished all of the half square triangles, the large and the small, and 3 sets of flying geese. These 8 small half square triangles, you can use the 8 at a time method to make your half square triangles, and then each set of these flying geese you can use the 4 at a time flying geese if you'd rather do that. If you don't have the AccuQuilt and you've used some other method, be sure and cut off all the nubs, anything outside of these half square triangles and all the flying geese. You just want nice straight edges. Let's move this to the side, and I'm just going to look at the diagram, and it's going to go like this, and these go over here, and then a half square triangle goes like this. So that's what forms the little thistle, and this is your side unit. You're going to piece 4 of these, and you can piece either way. You can piece this little row and then this little row and piece them together. You can piece the sides, whatever you want. I'm going to piece the rows together and make 4 of these. Next is the center square, and this goes in the center, and the flying geese go around them like this, and the squares go in the corners. And when I piece something like this, I always start with the sides first. I piece the sides together, and I piece the top row and the bottom row. Press everything, and then stitch the top here and then the bottom here, and press. So now I will go piece this, and I'll piece my 4 side units. Have you ever heard the expression, you can't see the forest for the trees? As I was pressing these units, these side units, I realized these 2 flying geese, this unit here, flying geese, and this flying geese, look at this. That is nothing but a 1/4 square triangle. So I don't have to have any of these seam lines here and to cut these small little half square triangles or do the 4 at a time flying geese. You simply cut your 1/4 square triangles and piece them all together. So look out for that when you're trying to deconstruct a quilt block. Look for the obvious. You know, I immediately saw 2 flying geese units, and it would have been so much easier just to piece this 1 1/4 square triangle unit than the 2 flying geese units. So now we'll just put our middle unit in the middle, or center, and put our side units up. And then put our corner units are, half square triangles in the corner. And there's the block. I'm going to sew 3 rows together and then sew the rows to each other, and the block will be finished.